Why did Mr. Wingren give us the worst topic? Like, I don't understand anything about American art and literature, fashion, music. Like, who do you think I am? Maybe I just have to go back and talk to some people. Alright guys, so I just found a time machine in my room, not clickbait, and we're about to go in, so let's try this. Alright, we got this, guys. I want to see history. What is that? I want to see actual history, not the History Channel. Come on. Ew. Alright, let's do this. Oh my god. Take us to the 1800s. Oh. Who are you? Really? What songs did you make?
Hi, my name is Stephen Foster. I was one of the most popular musical artists during the antebellum time period of America.
What was the music like then?
Music was very popular in antebellum America. Children often learned how to play musical instruments from a young age. Boys learned how to play the flute and the violin, while girls learned how to play the piano. Many new instruments were invented during this time period, such as the xylophone. Speaking of xylophones, I'm having a show at the concert hall tonight, where I'll be performing my song, "Oh Susanna." Would you like to come?
Oh my god, I am honored to be invited to your concert hall. I'd love to go. Oh my goodness, that was so good. I want to hear it again and again and again and again and again. Oh, I see. Who's this?
My name is Lowell Mason, and I am a large figure in American church music during the antebellum period. I am responsible for bringing music to American schools, and many consider me the first music teacher in the U.S. My music flourished throughout rural parts of the South as part of the Second Great Awakening. I also acted as a leader of music in the Independent Presbyterian Church, where I created the first Sunday school for African American children. Many criticize me for causing a growth of European-style music in America, which continues to be popular.
Oh, okay, I see. How did your music affect the American society?
Theater, along with shows that featured music, dancing, and comedy, became popular forms of entertainment and still remain prominent today. Minstrel shows heavily impacted American society. White groups would paint their faces and dress poorly to make themselves look like black slaves. They acted lazy, oblivious, and childlike to portray blacks as inferior to whites, while singing plantation songs and dancing. These actions established new prejudiced views towards blacks, which had a lasting impact. This is important because these shows expanded racist behavior towards black people. Racism is still a present-day problem, which shows that the minstrel show's contributions were extremely relevant.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So, what now? Is that a dress? Is there fashion? You, sir, tell me about fashion.
Hey Chris, I see you have a lot of questions about fashion, a topic which I know lots about. Since the beginning of time I have studied fashion throughout the Americas. From my experience in a textiles factory, I can explain to you all there is to know about antebellum period fashion. As the antebellum period began, the ideas of fashion, style, and what was accepted had begun to change. The once loose, puffy Regency gowns for the women had changed into hourglass silhouettes and tight corsets. This was to portray women in a sexual light. During this time, however, the Americans would look towards other countries for inspiration. This is a common theme shown throughout history, just like when the colonists would import goods from other countries and implement them into their own society. They were doing the exact same thing here Everyone needs some inspiration sometimes. Paris and London were two major centers of fashion design. The men were influenced by designers from London, while the women were influenced by designers from Paris. The women overall were seen to look elegant, to keep a small waist, and just to be classy. The men, they would wear coats, predominantly dark colors, and they would wear vests of lighter, more flamboyant colors. This was really to show off. They would wear vests if they were going out to parties, out to eat. They just want to show their colors, they want to show off and look strong. Coats were more for daytime activities, walking around, going to meetings, stuff like that, more work attire, while vests, on the other hand, were different. In addition to the specifics of clothing, the innovation of the rolling printing textile introduced a wide new spectrum of colors and fabrics. At this time, the color green became increasingly popular, and the stripe/floral patterns became another popular aspect of clothing.
How did the fashion of that time change people's lives?
Chris, to answer your question about how fashion changed the lives of many Americans is simple. Despite the physical appearance, fashion had a much deeper effect on Americans. Fashion segregated the social classes even more. It showed who the wealthy were, it showed who the middle class were, and it showed who the bottom or the poor were. The wealthy people, the wealthy men, they would wear the vest, the women would wear the tight corsets. Wealth was shown in the fashion. That was the main thing. Wealth was shown in the fashion. Middle class, they would wear plain clothes, not fancy, not elegant, poorly made fabric. This was because they worked middle class jobs, they worked labor, long hours, they were going to get dirty, they couldn't wear other stuff. The poor often wore raggedy, ripped clothes. So fashion really, it just separated the social classes and it showed who was wealthy and who was not. And that is a big effect in the culture and society.
What did the fashion show about the people?
Another important fashion aspect was the self-esteem issue that it brought along. Many women would often sleep in very uncomfortable positions just so their wigs could set, so they could show out at a party, at a dinner. This shows that it was a self-esteem issue. People wanted to look good and they didn't feel good unless they had the top quality fashion. This shows the shift between how it used to be back in the day when people wore more similar things to now when it was really about showing out. It was really about being the odd one out, looking different, looking right. Finally, fashion created a social aspect that allowed people, especially women, to socialize as they shopped through the various materials, colors, and fabrics of the antebellum period.
Oh, okay, I get it. So, fashion was a really big part of American society then, even though you might not realize it. And who are you?
You can call me Ishmael. Just kidding. I'm Captain Ahab. One day, I was minding my own business, just killing whales, when... my leg! Now I'm on a quest to hunt down the white whale. The book describes Captain Ahab's mad quest to revenge against the titular whale and the consequences for his crew.
Oh, so you wrote Moby Dick. I mean, if you guys were like me, you probably read Moby Dick for the summer assignment because it counted as so many points, and I could just basically read it for the whole entire summer assignment.
Let's talk about books. Woo! Probably one of the most well-known books of this era is Moby Dick or The Whale. Written at the height of the American antebellum in 1851, Moby Dick is considered one of the greatest books of the American Romantic period. The subject of the book, the whaling industry, peaked around 1861 at around the same time with 199 ships. In fact, the industry was so robust that the Civil War did not have a significant effect on its decline. Whaling was a prominent part of New England culture and was portrayed as a very romantic journey. Moby Dick helped promote an interest in New England antebellum culture long after it was written.
Alright, so what are your views on transcendentalism?
Wait, what's that? You are strong. Don't listen to what society tells you. Oh, it's the Transcendentalists. You can read all about it in my new paper titled Self-Reliant. Transcendentalism was a sort of religious movement or philosophy that originated in the early 1800s in New England. It emphasized a rejection of society and a strong belief in an individual's abilities. The ideas spread in part thanks to papers published by authors such as Henry David Thoreau and Ralph Waldo Emerson. The movement was mostly isolated amongst the New England upper class. However, some strong anti-establishment ideas did resonate in some parts of the country.
Sorry, I needed to change my shirt. Who are you?
I'm Gilbert Stewart from Rhode Island, and I'm one of the many painters who traveled to Britain to be trained because of the lack of wealthy class to sit down for portraits.
Britain? How did you use your training in Britain?
In Britain, I competed with the best artists, and in my return, I did many portraits of George Washington along with my friend Charles Wilson.
And did you make any other friends? Or no?
Yes, John Trouble was a good friend of mine, and he fought in the Revolutionary War. He's known for recapturing the scenes and spirits from the war.
Was it like this after the War of 1812 too?
Indeed it was. Photography became an unwelcome competition for most portrait painters.
That's amazing, but was the invention of photography at the same time?
Yes, in fact, many artists used their work to protest slavery. One artist in particular was Iry Crow. He would paint slave auctions. One of his famous paintings was called Slaves Awaiting Sale. He would Europeanize the slaves' appearance so the white viewers wouldn't dehumanize the slaves. In this painting, the people are not submissive and are not ready to be sold, but are very angry.
Do you think the increase in nationalism influenced America's fine art in society?
Nationalism also affected the art of sculpting. After the Revolutionary War, Hiram Powers became very popular because of his construction of the Bunker Hill Monument and the George Washington Monument.
So, who are you?
Hi, my name is Harriet Beecher Stowe. I am a teacher at the Hartford Female Seminary, and I am from Connecticut. I wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin, which was the most popular novel in the 19th century. 300,000 copies of it were sold after the first year that it was written.
Oh, that's cool. What's Uncle Tom's Cabin about?
Uncle Tom's Cabin is a novel about a poor Kentucky farmer named Arthur Shelby, whose family had to sell their farm and all of their slaves, even though they didn't want to for various reasons. The plot of the book follows the lives of a family of slaves who were sold. Although it made common multiple stereotypes for black people, it spread abolitionism throughout the United States. I wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin as an opposition to the Fugitive Slave Act, which ordered all U.S. states to arrest runaway slaves and return them to the South. To show Northern.
I bet that would stir the pot within the slavery debate, right?
Conversely, Northern whites began to support the abolitionist movement after seeing the horrors of slavery. The publishing of this book was one of the many events which helped contribute to the start of the Civil War. My effect on the war was so big, Abraham Lincoln once told me, "So this is the little lady who started the Great War." Also, my novel set precedent for future works of protest literature.
Oh, okay. Alright, so my conclusion that I got from this was that history isn't too bad. It's kind of cool.